Ever feel like no matter how hard you hustle and push through, your goals aren't really any closer to becoming a reality? People are starting to figure out, as James Clear said, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. But the problem is most people build systems for their best days, and I want to teach you to build systems that work even when you don't. So in this video, I'm going to show you the 3 human first systems that no one is talking about and how to finally make progress even when you're overwhelmed, you're tired, or maybe you're just over it. As a neuropsychologist and busy mompreneur, I've spent years testing what actually works when life is messy and time is limited, and these are the top 3 systems that have changed everything for me. So to start, let me show you the first system that'll keep you moving even when you're exhausted, even when you're unmotivated and feel like there just isn't enough time to get it all done. So recently we took Layla, my daughter, and my son Christian on a hike. Now Christian is full of energy, but like most kids, sometimes halfway through the trail, he just wants to quit. We've learned that if we want to make it from point A to point B with Christian, we need a system to get him through. Part of that system is his sister cheering him on and his dad sometimes carrying him when he wants to quit. Now, similarly, this first system I want to share with you is exactly that kind of support. It's your discipline system. And I'm not talking about discipline in the white knuckle sense, but the structures of support and accountability that will carry you even when you feel like giving up. Because here's what I've seen with so many ambitious women, so many that I work with. They don't really have a discipline problem. What looks like a discipline problem is actually burnout usually, or life just lifing. And the solution isn't more motivation, it's building a disciplined system that keeps you moving, even on those days that you feel like stopping halfway through the hike, so to speak. So let me show you how to create this type of discipline system for yourself. I'm going to draw that out for you here. So I want to call this your bounce back box, and it's how you will create your discipline system and how I'm teaching my students to create their own. And there's 2 pieces to this bounce back box or your discipline system that's going to really make it personalized to you and also help support you even on those hard days. And the first side of the box that's going to do that is by keeping it real. And the second side of that box is accountability. So let's talk about the first box on the keep it real side, and that is to understand your weaknesses. So first, I want you to identify what typically knocks you off track. Is it procrastination? Is it lack of motivation or maybe burnout? Recognizing these can help you pinpoint exactly where your discipline system needs to be bolstered or improved so you can actually stay consistent in the work that you're doing. So when it comes to understanding your weaknesses, what I give my clients is something called an overwhelm relief guide. So we come up with a system for knowing their triggers for feeling overwhelmed, what they can do when they notice the signs, and how can they get themselves back on track. So really coming up with a plan beforehand. In psychology, we call this coping ahead, where you're thinking, okay, what are your triggers where you feel like you're falling off track, and what's going to be your plan that you decide on ahead of time to get back on track. Okay, so the next thing on the keep it real side of our bounce back box is to plan for setbacks. What I have for that is reset routines. So planning for setbacks means baking in reset routines as part of your systems. This should include steps to review what went wrong and how to pivot back on track without beating yourself up. I have an entire video on reset routines, so I will keep it there for now, but just having a plan for any setbacks, and what I really recommend is just baking in reset routines just to account for the fact that you're human and there are going to be times that you are going to fall off track. But if you have these typical normal reset routines as part of the way that you work, then you'll always have a way to get back on track without a lot of effort. So the next thing we're going to talk about, we're going to move over to the accountability side of our bounce back box. And we want to start with first getting an accountability partner. And what I have for you for that is SYGA. So accountability partners motivate and support you, just like Christian's sister motivated him along the path and daddy carried him. You want to share your goals with someone you trust, or even better, join a community that shares similar ambitions. This increases your commitment and the likelihood that you're actually going to follow through. Research even shows that having a specific accountability appointment can increase your chance of success to 95% just by having that type of accountability. And what I have for you, SYGA, stands for my Systemize Your Goals Accelerator. This is where I not only teach you the systems to systemize your goals so you can reach your goals faster and easier, more efficiently, but I also layer those systems with mentorship, so one-to-one time with me to work on your goals and to get that sort of personalized coaching when it comes to being more focused, more organized, more productive, and evolving. But it also includes our accountability group, where we follow the exact system delegated in the book, the 12-week year, for the weekly accountability meeting. So you're also getting accountability and coaching there, which is going to help you follow through more on your goals and figure out what's not working for you and course correct so you meet your goals faster. And then you also, on top of that, have this added layer of a high caliber community of other like-minded, ambitious women. So we're keeping each other motivated along the way. So if you are interested in that type of personalized mentorship, learning these systems, and an accountability group that can hold you accountable to doing what you said you're going to do, be sure to click the link in the description to apply for my Systemize Your Goals Accelerator. I am only taking on 20 women in this founding group. So if you're even just a little bit interested, be sure to click the link below before spots fill up. Okay, and then the other piece on our accountability side is going to be tracking and adjusting. Again, so much research supports habit tracking when it comes to achieving your goals, tracking what it is that you say you're going to work on. In the book, The 12-Week Year, they recommend using a weekly scorecard and making sure that you're hitting at least 85%. But tracking alone is going to help you move closer to your goals because it's this added layer of self-accountability and mindfulness. So tracking allows you to regularly review your progress and adjust your strategies as needed. So this type of tracking keeps your system dynamic and responsive to your actual real world experience. And now with this bounce back system, you're going to create a framework that supports not just your pursuit of your goals, but it also sustains your progress even when motivation wanes. But there's this other piece at the bottom, which is to have a survival routine. Now, this survival routine is kind of like a safety net. This is going to be for seasons or for days that are just busy and you're quite frankly trying to survive. Like when you're solo parenting or maybe when you're sick, days like that. So develop a survival routine, which is just basically those good enough habits and doing just enough to take care of you and your family with the bare basic must-do necessities. And that way you have a list of things you know you need to do on those days that you just need to survive, but need to also keep pushing forward. Now, if my husband and Christian's sister are like his discipline system, you know, keeping him supported, keeping him accountable along the trail, then you can think of me, Mama, as this system that gives him comfort and gives him energy. Because let's be real, if you've ever been on a hike with toddlers, you know there's a secret weapon, which are snacks, okay? My trick is always when I'm on a hike with Christian is to pull out a Z-bar when he's starting to drag his feet. And that little boost not only makes him feel more cared for, but it gives him that little boost of energy to keep him moving. And really, that's exactly what your home system does for you. It's the comfort and the sustenance that fuels your productivity. When your home system is in place, whether it's routines, meal prep, or simply creating order in your environment, you don't waste energy fighting chaos. Instead, you could actually focus on the trail ahead. Because let's face it, productivity doesn't just come from pushing harder all the time. It comes from having a foundation that keeps you nourished and it keeps you steady along the way. So let's talk about building your own home management system, which will be the foundation of your goal getting journey. No one else is talking about that, so let's talk about it now. So let's title this Your Productive Home System. This is what I teach my clients inside of Systemize Your Goals. So it's really 3 C's that we're going to talk about. The first one is going to be to center your home. So you really want to kind of take an audit of your family's season of life right now, your family's values, what are most important to your family when it comes to maintaining your home. Are you that mom that likes to have everything neat and organized, like a more aesthetic vibe, and that keeps your family going because things are, you know, very calm and minimal? Or are you more the family that has like a lot of kids over all the time and it's more about entertaining and making sure toys are accessible and that you have, you know, all the things you need when guests come over? Are you the type of family that you have a lot of family that comes in towns to stay with you? That's really important to keep your home centered around that. So really think about, you know, what keeps my home thriving. I actually have my clients come up with a home thriving statement inside of Systemize Your Goals. So you can really think about and put on paper what is it that keeps your home thriving, and that is going to be the center of your home productivity. Basically your intention and your goals for your home. So you're not building a home system that's for like Pinterest or what you should be doing, but it's really tailored for what's most important to you and your family. All right, so the next C are going to be your cycles. Within your home, you want to have certain rhythms and routines that you do on different frequency basis to help your home stay consistent. So these are going to be things that take care of you and your family and keep your home going so that you can have the foundation you need in order to be productive. There's so much research on how clutter increases our cortisol levels, how it causes stress. And you probably know when you have your home chaotic or your family is not taken care of, or you're missing things for your kids or yourself or appointments and all those sorts of things, or you don't have like food prepped or you don't know what you're cooking each day, life just gets chaotic and it's hard to be productive. So you want to have those cycles that you and your family have to take care of yourself, so you have that foundation, specifically starting off the day and starting off the week with you and your family taken care of. So when it's go time to work, you don't have all this other stuff on your mind or stressing you out. So let's talk about what systems that I like to think about. These cycles, I call my divine order system. So it's just a metaphor of divinity. The first one is your daily bread. Again, it's a metaphor. Don't take it too, it's not that deep. Is your daily bread. These are going to be your daily rhythms. I actually have a picture I'm going to put on the screen for you guys of my daily bread. So if you use my 3-7 time blocking method, you'll know what I mean by these routines. So in the morning, you have your early morning routine and your morning routine, and in the evening, you have your evening routine. These are your sandwich pieces of your bread, the start and ends of your day, the most important part of your day is to take care of you and your family. So you're starting the day prioritizing what's most important, that foundation of your productivity. So in my early morning routine, I have my coffee, my book work, and the dishes. In my morning routine, which is for your family and your home, launch my kids to school. I do a quick tidy routine. I get myself ready after doing some cardio, and I do my spiritual stuff. My husband takes my kids to school. And then in the evening, it says movement here, but this is an old slide from the beginning. I have moved that to my morning routine. I have dinner and close the kitchen. So it's another like clutter check and cleaning routine, a quick tidy, and bedtime routine for my kids and for myself. So that's my daily bread cycles. You're also going to have your church cycles. And if you think of church, it's typically once per week. So those are your weekly non-negotiables that you do for your home and for your family. I also teach us to do these for business, but we're talking about our home system now. So I put on the screen an example of some of mine: zone cleaning, my weekly home blessing, meal planning and meal prep, washing my kids' hair, my weekly review, my weekly planning. Those are more business related, but also for family stuff, family budgeting with my husband, and watering our plants. So you want to think about those weekly things that you need to do each and every week to take care of you and your family. And then the last C is going to be cushion. And we've already talked about that. That's your survival routine as it pertains to your home and your family. I will say also in this cycles here, there's a revival cycle. So those are the more spread out ones. Like if you think of a church revival, the things you do quarterly for your home, the things you do yearly to sort of maintain you and your family. You can also think about those too. So this is going to be your productive home system. I have a home management template in my Productive Boss Notion system that lays out my entire home system. It's only available in my Productive Notion system. So if you're looking for more help in organizing your home management system, you can take a look at that if you're interested. I'll link it down below. Okay, back to our hike with little Christian. Yes, his sister and dad gave him the support and the encouragement to keep going. And yes, me, mommy, had the snacks to give him the comfort and the energy to keep moving forward. But there's one more piece that made the hike possible: the gear. Christian had his little hiking shoes, his sweater, his water bottle, and even the backpack that his dad carries him in when he gets too tired. All of that gear didn't do the hiking for him, but it made the journey easier and made it safer and it made it more sustainable. That's exactly what your tools and tech system does for you. The right apps or planners or automations or even a simple checklist really can act like the gear for your goal-getting journey. They don't replace the discipline or the foundation, but they make every step more efficient and more effective along the way if you have the right tech and tools. Because just like you wouldn't hike a mountain in flip-flops, you don't want to pursue your goals without the right tools to support you along the way. Let's talk about my most essential tools that help me be efficient. So this is going to be our 4-part tech stack. So the first part of our tech stack is going to be having an organized brain outside of your brain, a second brain, if you will. And I use Notion for this. This is where I use the PARA method, which is a system for organizing. So I combine the PARA method from building a second brain, but I also include strategies, getting things done by David Allen. So I have my task, I have my projects, my life areas, resources, and archive in my second brain. And it's also my hub for everything. Like I mentioned, I have my home management template in there, my 12-week year, my vision board template. I also have my business hub in there, which is a very robust template. If you're interested in this whole entire integrated system where everything is connected, it is in my Productive Boss Notion template, which I will link below, like I mentioned here. But this is probably my most used tech tool. I couldn't talk about tech without mentioning Notion, particularly the PARA method that I use inside my organized brain. And this really helps me with task management and thought management, idea management. And without it, I really have mental clutter. Moving on to the next one. While I'm in the red here, I'll go ahead and tell us what next one helps me get rid of. This helps me avoid not being intentional. And this one you can kind of call my placeholder. And it is my digital calendar or Google family calendar that's shared. So I use digital calendars differently. I do all my time blocking in my paper planner, and I only do within my digital calendars my weekly non-negotiables. So those are meetings, appointments, things that you can't miss. Those are your must-dos. And they're also those non-negotiable things that you do, like your home and your family each week to keep you sustained. So they're your weekly routines, your weekly non-negotiables, and your must-dos, your appointments, things like that. I keep those in my Google Calendar as placeholders, not to time block over, but to make sure, especially for those routines, that I'm doing them each and every week. So like I said, those are those non-negotiables, and they protect my time. Okay, the next thing helps me with storage, and it keeps stuff from being everywhere. And this is pretty straightforward. This is my Google Drive. Now, I do use Notion for a lot of things, organizing my tasks, my projects, ongoing areas of my life like YouTube, things like that. But when it comes to large files, I definitely save those in Google Drive. If you have a deep freezer or a storage, offsite your house, this is kind of what I use my Google Drive for, those large files. And I also use them for collaboration. So essentially for collaboration and storage. And then this last tool you can think of as like my manager, if you will. And it helps me overcome or get rid of or avoid overwhelm. And that is my paper planner. You guys likely know I use my Mod Ambition planner, which I have a printable version for you below. But you can usually use any planner as long as you have the ability to time block in different segments. So in my planner, I have quarterly planning, monthly planning, weekly planning, and daily. Especially if you're neurospicy, the more that you can break things down, especially goals and milestones, is going to help you really wrap your brain around it. So when I get done organizing all my tasks in my Notion each week, I basically book my non-negotiables from my calendar into my weekly plan, and then I time block accordingly around them using my 3-7 time blocking method. I have videos on my channel about all of that, but my paper planner is my manager in the day-to-day because that's where I do my time blocking and it essentially tells me what I need to do. So my paper planner is where I time block. It's also where I brainstorm, because I like to brainstorm on paper, especially my goals. So I have my goal planner and my Mod Ambition planner. It comes with the goal planner before all the time blocking pages. I also brainstorm my quarterly and monthly goals inside my paper planner before transferring them to my 12-week year Notion template. So that's all inside my paper planner as well. And like I said before, this is just a snippet of the entire framework I teach my students inside of Systemize Your Goals Accelerator. If you are interested in working with me directly to get personal mentorship, to get accountability, to get a community of high caliber women, and learn all my systems to reach your goals faster, to reach them easier, be sure to click the link in the description and apply, even if you're just a little bit interested, because spots are limited. You do want to get your name on the list and just see if it's right for you. So I will leave that link below. Also, if you want a better idea of my entire system for systemizing your goals, I do go over it entirely in this video here. So I've teed that up for you to watch next. Until next time, cheers to planning, manifesting, and enjoying your dream life. Namaste.